To Washington now, where lawmakers vote on a resolution condemning President Trump's racist tweets. He remained defiant during a Rose Garden speech yesterday, despite mounting backlash. The president told 4 Democratic congresswomen of color to go back to their home countries. They are all American citizens.
As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. And that's what I say all the time. That's what I said in a tweet, which I guess some people think is controversial. A lot of people love it, by the way.
Well, the congresswomen have demanded President Trump be impeached. The president kept the controversy going this morning on Twitter. Nancy Cordes has the latest reaction from Republicans and Democrats on the Hill.
The top House Republican, Kevin McCarthy, is defending the president. He says Mr. Trump isn't racist. He's just frustrated about these 4 congresswomen and their political views.
No matter what the president says, this country belongs to you. And it belongs to everyone.
The 4 female lawmakers who have come to be nicknamed the Squad forcefully condemned the president.
This is the agenda of white nationalists.
And said his comments were part of a pattern.
He is, if nothing else, predictable.
Simply a continuation of his racist and xenophobic playbook.
A Republican backlash gained steam, too.
The tweets are racist and xenophobic, period, in the story.
It's dangerous, it's demeaning to our fellow Americans, and that's simply wrong.
But others defended him.
Come on, of course the president's not racist.
The comments that they have made, the Squad, all of them, have been so anti-American.
So far, 11 Republicans have slammed the president's tweets outright. 17 have criticized both Democrats and Mr. Trump. 10 are supporting him, leaving more than 200 GOP lawmakers who have stayed silent. The new Democratic resolution will force them to go on the record and vote. The measure, quote, strongly condemns President Donald Trump's racist comments that have legitimized and increased fear and hatred of new Americans and people of color.
I hear the way she talks about Al-Qaeda.
The president insisted it's the women who have used hateful speech.
Can you respond to some of the president's specific claims, most notably that you're a communist and that you're pro-Al-Qaeda?
It's beyond time to ask Muslims to condemn terrorists. We are no longer going to allow the dignification of such ridiculous statement.
The president referenced a 2013 video in which Omar can be seen talking about Al-Qaeda, but she did not praise the group, as he claimed. Anne-Marie?
All right, Nancy, thank you. So for more on this, we want to bring in CBSN political reporter Caitlin Huey-Burns. And Caitlin, you have an article on CBSNews.com entitled Trump's 2020 Campaign Weapon, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the Squad. How do you believe the president is going to attempt to use these progressive Democrats to cater to his base?
Well, this is a fight that he certainly wants to have, and he showed that in the Rose Garden yesterday when he appeared there. That came after a lot of Republicans had come out condemning the tweets, saying that they were divisive and racist. Some even called on him to apologize and to stop it. He showed no signs of doing either of those things. In fact, doubling down on this approach because this is part of his strategy. He wants to paint the Democrats as socialists, as left-wing, for open borders, as he calls it, un-American, as he has said. So that's what he wants to do. Now, you had a lot of Republicans complaining about the tweets, saying that, look, Democrats were already kind of fighting with each other. Remember the Squad versus Nancy Pelosi, this generational divide, this divide on tactics and approach. Let them just fight it out. He actually wants them all united around these 4 congresswomen because he believes, and his campaign and Republican strategists and pollsters I've been talking to believe that if you can paint the whole party, make these 4 women the face of the party, that will be effective for the reelection campaign. And I also talked to Republican pollsters who are finding that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is really well known among voters. She's only been in office for about 6 months, but 74% of people know enough to have an opinion about her. Wow. 64% of Republicans have a negative opinion about her, and they believe that number will only grow. And they believe that she has supplanted, in their words, Nancy Pelosi as the boogeyman of sorts for Republicans.
So here's the thing, though. There are a lot of Democrats that are critical, and there are a lot of Democrats that, Trump's base sort of love to target. But these are 4 women of color. And what sort of sent, I think, things over the top was this tweet about go back to your home country, which I don't think he would say to Chuck Schumer. So is it more than just progressive? And let's not just call him progressive, let's call him communist. Is race also a factor?
Oh, certainly. And we saw this in the 2016 campaign, and we saw this involving the president's rhetoric on immigration then, and we're seeing it again now. The president essentially wants to recreate some of these conditions that were really favorable to him in 2016. Remember, we've had an election in between that. In 2018, we saw a revolt, really, among suburban women in these swing districts, moving from Republicans onto Democrats. And I've been asking Republican strategists and pollsters about that group, and they maintain that general elections are a little different. They're about a choice. And if Trump can frame this about a choice, that they believe that he can have some fertile ground. Now, this is not without Republican hand-wringing, but Trump's philosophy is that, look, to his own Republicans, you told me I couldn't win in 2016. I'm not going to listen to you now. In fact, he's more defiant, and you're starting to see Republican leadership like Kevin McCarthy, and I've seen some other comments from Republicans saying, go, Mr. President, go. This is a battle that we want to fight.
I find that fascinating because, of course, in 2016, the conditions are you're coming off of a Barack Obama, right? So how can you replicate that in order to do what happened in 2016, which was a lot of people who didn't vote decided they would come out to vote, and they voted for President Trump.
Exactly.
But now you don't have a Barack Obama. So what do you do?
Right. And you don't have a Hillary Clinton.
Right.
And you don't even have a Democratic nominee yet. And they're going through this long process, and the president wants to make sure that whoever emerges from that Democratic primary is kind of painted with this broad brush that he's trying to use. And he's not really focused on expanding his base of support. He's focused on really ginning up his base of support, making sure they're energized and turned out. And also he believes, or Republicans believe, that in order to attract some of these swing voters, you have to make sure the other side is just, worse, essentially. And we saw them do that in 2016, and they're trying to replicate that now. We'll see. I mean, Democrats, we've seen now, are completely united in opposition to the president. They're defiant themselves. And so we'll see if this has the adverse effect that the Republicans intend.
I want to quickly ask you about this resolution, right? Essentially condemning those tweets. So this is, I know a lot of people say, oh, this resolution doesn't have any teeth. What does it mean? But this is an opportunity for lawmakers who have avoided the questions from journalists to take a stand.
Exactly. Not only uniting the Democratic Party, but also putting the spotlight back on some Republicans, even some Republicans in swing districts, or those Republicans who really don't want the president to be fighting this kind of battle, who want him to be focused on the economy, want him to be focused on other items that they want to get past the broader agenda. But again, this is an agenda that the president wants to make part of his reelection bid.
Interesting stuff. Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you so much.
Thank you.